After the noon prayer, I have decided to record the facilities and communities of Istanbul. There are 600 madrasas, including those of Mustafa Pasha, Cheneb Ahmed Pasha, and the Saifuddin School. These are the most well known, each with numerous cells, domed classrooms, and each providing its students with room and board. The city also has 400 public baths, the best of which are in the Bayezid district. These ones are delightful with an invigorating atmosphere. The Imperial District is filled with great and lofty mansions and apartments, decorated with orchards and gardens. The city has 190 Muslim quarters, 70 quarters of Greeks, 3 of Franks from the 7 kings, 10 of Jews, and 23 of Armenians. There are 70 churches. First, the Church of Orgel, belonging to the French, and it rests on a dike reached by stairs of 7 steps. Near it is the Venetian church. It had burnt down and lay in ruins for 20 years, but was restored by permission of Ahmed Pasha. It has a skyscraping square tower. Inside and outside these churches, there are strange and wonderful images and icons that seem to come alive the more you suspend your gaze upon them. The Greeks have 18 churches and a hospital, resting on an inclined hill by Galata's walls. The Armenians have 3 churches and the Jews have 2 synagogues in their quarter. The Greeks are tavern keepers, daily serving delicious frankala bread. The Armenians are sellers of pastirma, a kind of pressed meat that is salted, aged, and at times smoked. They are also wealthy merchants partaking in the daily commerce in Galata and the Constantine quarter. Jews, on the other hand, serve as intermediaries in the marketplace, settling disputes between the guilds and brokering contracts. Istanbul has 400 public houses and hundreds of shops and tikiyas, leaving no need for locals nor strange travelers unattended. As Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The best of men is he who is useful to mankind." The markets have thousands of colored candies flavored with musk, ambergris, and worthy of a padishah. They are placed in the glass jars at the confectioners that are found nowhere else. Rice from Filibe and Baypazri, lentils from Romelia, honey from Moldavia, sugars from Egypt, and hemp from Kerhala and Anatolia. Not to speak of the fine silk and cotton shirts from Trabzon, which are sold for a straw. One can get a Bedavi shirt for 20 dirhams. The mutijars also sell delectable spiced sweet meats, topped with decorative leaves and spiced samit, which is a delicious ring bread. Of all the markets in Istanbul, however, none compares to the Grand Bazaar, plunging you into a roar of traffic right at its entrance. It's as if entering a different world. Sounds of people are instantly drowned by the echoes of music, water seller cries, the soothing scents of perfumes, and the babble of busyness. One would be remiss not to wonder if they had stumbled upon Aladdin's cave. More than 1,000 stalls and shops line its corridors, mazes upon mazes, carpets from Bursa, goldsmiths and silversmiths with goods from Kemiya and Iflakia, heaping them in lanes. There are 366 different trades and crafts here. It is crowded with the richest merchants, and one can find here every valuable good of the highest quality. The Armenian blacksmiths sing songs with their fine voices. Cotton carders from Egypt beat their bows to a pleasing rhythm. Such is the degree to which the artisans here are perfect masters in every respect. One may truly forget that an outside world exists just beyond these corridors and walls. Around the wall of the bazaar, there is always much commotion, with musical entertainment in every corner worthy of Hussein Baykara. On the right corner of its entrance, you'll find a shop of the Guild of the Furriers. Their stalls are adorned with the furs of stables, Emenine, Marten, and Russian silver fox. Yashirian furriers in the Mahmud Pasha market form a separate grand procession, wearing hundreds of furs which they put on backwards. The Greek sable merchants are wealthy, putting their merchandise on horses and parading them for all to see around the city. The Armenian communities of Galata and Constantine traced their lineage far back to the land of Shevaz from the descent of Esau, son of the prophet Ishaq. They were people of giants, and according to them, it was the Amalek, these giants, who created the Armenian language. Armenians of Arab lands are called Jacobites, speaking a completely different dialect. The dialect of the Mirdishi people, for example, closely resembles Arabic and Persian. They all follow the gospel still and belong to the Christian community. They differ from the Greek Christians, however, in that they break their fast on the eve of Easter rather than the following morning. The Romani of the Balat quarter come from the original town of Balat and Gomlechine. The Anatolian and Rumelian Romanis, however, do not get along very well. Every year without fault, they would celebrate Easter with the Christians, the Bayram with the Muslims, and Passover with the Jews. They did not accept one religion, but shared in the celebration of all of them. Among the artisans of each community are sellers of compasses and watches, cut crystal lenses and hourglasses, and apothecaries. Some among them also belong to the Guild of Acrobats, masters of tightrope walking who perform world-admiring feats. In Istanbul today, there are 13 masters, each one capable of climbing to the sky on rope ladders and conversing with the cherubim. Most famous among them is Mehmet Shelebi of Oshkodar, and he is also their chief. He performed in the hippodrome on the occasion of the imperial circumcision. As for drinks, in the taverns such as the famous Tash Nirdubin or Kefeli Manyali, Mihlaki and Saranda are sold various notorious forbidden ruby dripping wines from Akonie, Syracuse and Busgada. When I pass through some locales and see tens of downtrodden tavern slaves in the highway, bareheaded and barefooted, and inquire about their state, some put forth this verse: I am so drunk, I do not know what is worldly or divine. Who am I? Who is the cupbearer? Where is the crimson wine? Astaghfirullah, I swear by him that I have never partaken of a single drop. I mingled among all the craftsmen and learned their secrets, but I only drank the sherbet of Athenian honey. Istanbul, because of its delightful climate, is famous for its darling boys and girls. Its blessings are abundant for rich and poor alike. All the people are impertinent lovers of the dervish temperament. They are famous for their salons in winter time. When the grand ship capitans return from their voyages, they take all their friends in their felucas and frigates in Bukhlish Sari and have intimate gatherings. Fortunate for them, as the eight winds will not reach them. On holidays, thousands of young lovers come to the Kagithani to flirt with one another, go out in kayaks and ferries. Some take a plunge with their sweethearts and embrace without fear, for it is the river of love. The common people of Istanbul are of four categories. The first are sailors, the second merchants, the third craftsmen of various sorts, and the fourth are joiners and calkers. Some of them wear clothing of Cizayr, as they are fabulously rich, as such as Ilvan Kapitan. At a quick gaze, you can see colorful patterns of fabrics, from satin to silk brocade to broadcloth. The men in every district brandish their shalvar as they walk through the busy markets, while the women wore beautifully patterned tunics. From time to time, I'd be fortunate to witness one of the qadis bestowed in the most pleasing hilayat, with patterns impossible to follow. Everywhere, the brilliance of silver, purple, silk, and satin. No mere words could give an adequate idea of the novelty of the sight. Palaces and alleys line the shore of the city, like a winding crowd observing out into the other side. As you go deeper inland, tightly packed alleys run along narrow, twisting streets, marking roads in the shape of rivulets, gardens scattered by every house, circling many of them. These bustanlars are bursting with colors from the bearing of delectable fruits. They are inlaid with thousands of small trees, with flowers acting as their border from the roads. The men come and go, congregating at the Kivahanat in every corner of the city, exchanging stories, laughing, reading, easing their anxieties and worries, while others amongst them partake in recreation and nargil smoke. In every quarter, there is a public building from which zakat are given out every day to the needy and destitute. According to the divan of each quarter, Istanbul has 8,000 single and double story stonework houses with slate and tiled roofs. From any rooftop you look upon, or if you climb the great tower of Galata, you'd be beset with this beautiful sight of our Iram of the pillars, a skyline like no other, the pleasant city, the refuge of the world, the jewel of civilization. At the arrival of the new moon, I concluded my wander in the streets of Istanbul. I wrote down the complete description of this matchless city, recording, as far as possible, its important buildings and noteworthy matters and its people. In this desire to travel and sightsee, I have found a new love for my home, the pleasant land. I was of two thoughts when I began this chronicle, but now I am of one. Surely in all of the worlds and countries I will soon explore, there will be no other as captivating nor dazzling. When God prepares something, He prepares intermediate pauses, and when I have paid my debt to death, this labor shall live on. Farewell, O beautiful one.